Yes guys, something's been brought to my attention the last couple of months around hair systems, which I've noticed a lot, and it's time to make a video about it because this is not good enough. Now, before I crack on with this video, I wanted to assure you that the supplier that I use, I've never had a problem with them. I don't know anyone who's ever had a problem with them, and I've got a discount code for them. I only recommend suppliers that I trust and that I use myself. However, there are other suppliers in the market who simply are ripping people off, and it's not okay. It's not acceptable. I'm not going to be mentioning specific brands because I don't want litigation taken against me, but I'm going to be sharing with you a few photos of pictures that people have sent me of systems which have literally started falling apart within the space of a week, 2 weeks. So if you want to know the names of those specific suppliers, DM me, okay? I'm on Instagram. I know you can't DM on YouTube, but I'm on Instagram. The handle Adam Gets Healthier. It's nothing related to hair systems, but feel free to DM me and follow me on there or whatever, and I'll be able to tell you which suppliers to avoid. So before I crack on with this video, I want to make it crystal clear that the supplier that I use, so Lavivid, they have always given me top quality systems. I've never heard a bad word said about them. They are a top quality provider and they've never let me down. You can be rest assured that you get top quality systems from them. Now, other suppliers that I've seen, and some of them are big suppliers, well-known suppliers, are providing, quite frankly, trash. And it's not acceptable. I don't even know if there's a quality control department within their companies. It doesn't appear so. Now, I'm going to be sharing some pictures with you which have been sent over from people, and basically they've given me their permission to use these pictures. It won't show their faces, it just shows the systems, and you'll really be able to see how bad these systems are. Now, this first system that you can see here, this is a week old. This is from a guy I know who was at a business conference in Vegas, I think it was, and this was how the system looked after 4 days. Look at the amount of shedding at the front of the system. It was so bad that he had to order an emergency replacement system 4 days after receiving this one. That is not good enough. When you're spending like 200, 300 pounds, $300, $350 American, this finished product after 4 days is not good enough. And I'm telling you now, there's a lot of shedding there. There is a lot of shedding there. Look, you can see where the hairline should be as well. It's just so obvious. You can see why this guy didn't feel comfortable going to a networking event with his company with the state of this. Now, this gentleman here, this is again a problem about shedding. You can see the amount of shedding. This is a week-old system. You can see the amount of shedding at the front of the system. It's so blindingly obvious. This guy was also told that his knots would be bleached at the front, and as you can see, it's very obvious they haven't been bleached. I've heard about this a lot, whereby people have ordered a lace system, the supplier says it comes with bleached knots, and they receive the hair system and it doesn't have bleached knots. So effectively, what you're asking for, you're not receiving. That's not good business, okay? This is the same guy. Look at the amount of hair here that's coming out. This system's a week old. This is up just after he come out of the shower. There's so many hairs here. This should not be happening to a hair system after a week of wear. This is what you'd be expecting to see about 4 months plus in for a lace system. So after a week, this isn't good enough. You're effectively throwing away £300. Now, this gentleman here, he prefers his hair systems long. As you can see, I mean, this is pretty normal within the industry, whereby the knots on the body of the system aren't actually bleached. That's pretty normal. You tend to get, bleached knots through the front inch of the system. But the problem for this gentleman is, look again at the amount of shedding. So he wears his hair in a parting because it is long, but it's pretty clear that you're wearing something because the amount of shedding down the parting line is blatantly obvious. This again was a system that was about 2 weeks old and it had to go straight in the bin. Now what these guys have found when they've reported the problem to the hair system supplier that they bought it from, the supplier will say, okay, well you have to ship it back for about £50, which is about $60 American, and we'll replace it for you. So effectively the supplier is making you pay for a mistake that they've made. Again, this doesn't really sit well with me. It doesn't strike me as good business, and I think these principles need to change. I think if the supplier has made a mess up or a mistake, then the supplier should rectify that and there shouldn't be any charge to the customer. The customer's done nothing wrong here. I'm really hopeful that over time these suppliers will get their act together basically and improve the quality of their hair systems. Shedding shouldn't be happening after a week. Now I know that since the pandemic, a lot of expertise has been lost because a lot of people who were making the lace systems were actually making them in North Korea. That's been moved over to China. I understand they have to train new people up. It's going to take time. There will be teething problems. But we're 2 years out from the pandemic now. Things need to be better, especially if you're charging premium price for these products. And I'd like to think if there are any suppliers that are watching this video that they can take note of this because it's super, super important. And customers are getting annoyed by this. And you won't retain your customers if you don't offer a good quality product. They will just go elsewhere. So please, what I would say to suppliers is adhere to what I'm saying, because I'm literally just reflecting what a lot of people on the Facebook groups and the Reddit groups are saying. Have you yourself had a problem with hair systems in the past? Have you found they didn't last quite as long as you were told they would or you expected they would? Did you have excess shedding early on? Did you find that you ordered something with bleached knots and it didn't come with bleached knots, for instance? This is something I've been hearing a lot. So please do let me know in the comments box below. And if you're interested in hair system suppliers that I recommend, as I said, I always wear Lavivid. They've been fantastic. Never had a problem with them. There's a few other reviews that I've done. I'm going to pop that playlist up right now where I've basically used a star system to rate each different supplier that I've worn systems from. So do check that out if you have time, and I'll speak to you next week.